Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you guys to my channel. Um, Today, we're going to do things just a little bit different. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a day in the life of running a small courier business in the New York City region. Now, I'm not going to do the typical deliver the box, put the box, scan the box down, say goodbye. I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff. All right. I'm a little bit more old school, a little bit more seasoned. If you want that kind of day in the life, just go to somebody else's YouTube channel. They all kind of talk the same stuff anyway. But a lot of the stuff I talk about today is going to be like the backstory a little bit. I'm going to talk about the mileage to pay ratio, interacting with the customers, finding more ways to build from the beginning and then all the way to the top. I'm also going to talk a little bit about drama, right? Being in the New York City area, you deal with the traffic cops, you deal with the bike lanes, the fire hydrants, the sanitation trucks, the school buses, all of the things, all the obstacles that can actually bring your revenue down. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And when you guys see my actual delivery, I'm going to put the delivery more like I'm going to speed that up. You guys can just get a look of what the delivery was, but I'm not going to talk about what I'm actually doing. I'm also not going to share the actual pay because the pay really depends in your region. Somebody who's doing this delivery that I'm about to do now might get paid more than I get paid if they're in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or whatever the case might be, or they might get less. It just depends. So the pay really doesn't matter, but the ratio, miles to pay ratio, is what truly counts. All right. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks. All right, guys. So that one completes that route. And I just want to point out, though, that that was a multi-stop route. All right. So I picked up and dropped off in Manhattan. And then I also did a pickup and a drop off in the Bronx, New York. And then I had to drop everything off right around East Flatbush, Brooklyn. So I do want to point out that that was a 26-mile journey. And I'm only bringing that up because the payment that I usually do is a ratio, right? So it's a ratio from pay to miles. All right. So if people ask me, hey, how much do you charge? It just depends on what is the payment ratio from payment to miles. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I made, but I might give you a hint on this one, right? But let's just say, hypothetically, let's say your route was 10 miles, okay? 10 miles, right? I would only accept the 10-mile journey if it's a 5-to-1 ratio, okay? So let's talk about the numbers. If it's 10 miles, okay, 10 miles, 5-to-1 ratio, 10 miles times 5, that's 50. That means for that 10-mile journey, the minimum I would take is $50. Okay? Say it was a 2-mile journey, right? 2 miles, 5-to-1 ratio, 2 times 5. The minimum I would take is $10. Okay? You guys can do the math, right? This journey here was a 26-mile routed journey, and my total earnings for this one was a 7-to-1 ratio, which is excellent. All right. The minimum I would take is 5 miles. Sorry, is a 5-to-1 ratio. This one gave me a 7-to-1 ratio on 26 miles. I'll let you guys take out your calculator for that. The other thing I want to point out was that at the pickup and drop off, the customer was really cool guy. We developed a good rapport. I called him. I let him know that I was on my way. I'm outside. He mentioned that there was a little bit of delay. My reaction is, hey, no problem. I took out my stuff, sat down, did a little reading and so forth. It's very important when you guys are in this business that you guys are building rapport, a relationship between your business and the customer. All right, I'm headed out to my second route, and I'll see you guys there. All right, thanks. All right, guys. So somewhere here in Brooklyn, I'm not sure what section that is, but here I picked up from a company called Sunbelt Rentals. Now, I've done some work for these guys before. What they do is they have a lot of the mechanical, a lot of the construction equipment that construction sites will rent from them in order to fix and work on their site, right? Because not a lot of companies and developers actually own this type of equipment. So Sunbelt Rentals specializes in renting out their supplies. Now, inside the truck though, right, I have 6 dehumidifiers, and a bunch of filters and stuff like that. This is big time. Okay, this is big time, and this is relatively expensive. The dehumidifiers. I'm not saying that right. But they're used at a lot of developments and construction sites to help filter the air. All right. If I'm saying that wrong, please do your research. But they definitely deal with the filtration of air so that the workers on site are having better health. Okay, for lack of a better phrase. Now, I'm taking this from Brooklyn and I'm going to Long Island. All right. Now, the ratio, remember the ratio we talked about? The ratio of this one is 3-to-1. It's right around my minimum. Okay. Anything 3-to-1 ratio in terms of pay is a win. So, you guys getting into this business, learning about this business, try to take the 3-to-1 ratio. That means you're getting paid a good amount. I'm also taking this one instead of a Brooklyn standard delivery because I know when I go to Long Island, I'm not going to deal with the shenanigans of the city. This is a hop on the highway, straight drive. There's going to be a parking lot or some kind of area where I can unload. I don't have to deal with traffic cops. I don't have to deal with bad driving. I'm not going to get a lot of negative work. This is going to be a straight up drop off, and I can tell. And then my last point, if you are driving in Long Island, all right, there are Long Island state troopers. It's the same as upstate New York. And those troopers, I'm telling you right now, they do not play. Okay, so I'm going to be one of those guys that's going to stay in the middle lane. I'm going to drive at my proper speed, and there's not going to be any kind of drama. No texting behind the wheel. If I touch my phone, it's like maybe just a millisecond because they do not play. All right. All right. I'm headed to Long Island, and I'll see you there. All right, guys. So I just finished this delivery in Long Island going to Sunbelt Rentals. Um, this one wasn't too bad at all. You know, I told you guys I picked up at that Brooklyn site. And then I also, this is a drop off at same company, but in Long Island. So this one was a company to company delivery. So what's good about that one is that they know how to handle the supplies. They know exactly how to read the invoice, and the transition is a lot smoother. You can also see that the labor was very low, right? So they had staff ready to unload, and that made my life a whole lot easier. I do want to point out that each of those humidifiers, all right, yes, I got that right. Each of those humidifiers weigh somewhere around 300 pounds. Okay, so sometimes when you go on these jobs, you're gonna have to load and unload yourself, and then sometimes you got assistance. It just really depends. And at the end of the day, that's a factor in the price. That's called labor. All right. The payment was a 3-to-1 ratio at the bottom for somebody experienced like me. If you're new to this, maybe a 2-to-1 ratio might be a good start, but 3-to-1 ratio, that's the bottom low or whatever. I'm not going anything less than that because it's not worth it with the gas. Based on the deliveries that I showed you guys, some of you guys might say it's boring, but hey, look, what's boring to you may not be boring to me. What's boring to me may not be boring to you. But here's what we know. I don't have no boss breathing down my neck. I do have a window of delivery that is manageable for me. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. I'm going to probably stop by somewhere to grab me a quick bite to eat. And there's no hassle, it's no drama. So to you inspiring entrepreneurs out there, no matter what field you're in, remember your work dictates how much you pay. As an entrepreneur, it's a grind. You're gonna have to put the sweat and the equity into your business if you're looking to grow. Um, I'm gonna go ahead. I did want to go ahead and talk to these guys, but since it's a company to company one, I can easily find their contact. I'm gonna shoot them an email, maybe an email letter, probably requesting a little bit more work. They may say yes, they may say no, they may read the email, they may not read the email, but at least I gave the effort. All right, guys. I don't know if I got another delivery for you guys. I don't even know if I'm going to record it, but you guys kind of get the idea. of the backstory. This is not about pick up the box, deliver the box, scan the box. I'm not explaining that nonsense. You can get that nonsense from a different video. But what I showed you was a professional approach to delivering product. I started off with some laundry. Now I'm delivering humidifiers. And who else knows what's next? All right, guys. I don't know if I got another one for you. But if not, I'll see you soon. Peace.